You ever wondered what it would happen if Godzilla and a shark had a baby? I present to you... the Fasolasuchus. These guys are absolutely impressive. They're a pain in the butt to tame, but once you get the hang of it, trust me, it will... It gets a lot easier the more you practice. But their taming mechanics are rather challenging, I would say. But yeah, other than that, they are really good. So hey, sit down, grab some coffee, and let's learn all about these guys. Alright, so to start off, Fasolasuchus, they actually have a couple different abilities. One, well, first off, they eat meat. They're carnivores, which means that you can force feed them a bunch of meat. They do tend to have their stamina actually bounce back rather quickly, but they'll only do it above ground. If you're below ground, I have not been able to have mine get back its stamina while sitting like this. It may just be mine. I have noticed that as of right now of recording this, there are a few... Oh, it actually just popped back right there. All right, so it does come back out, underground. All right, but these guys, while they're underground, if you run over any rocks that are around you, they will gather flint like nobody's business. It is insane just how much flint these guys will get. All you have to do is run over any rock, and there's quite a few that are actually kind of hidden underneath the ground. Trees or anything like that will do nothing for you, but you can still just demolish them as if they just weren't even there. It's kind of impressive. Also, if you come and you jump out, and then you can actually attack things from down below. Here, one sec. You can jump out like that. It does a little bit of extra damage, but not too much. But also, with each bite, they put a stacking debuff on the enemy. Each bite makes it so where they take 2.5% additional damage, and it goes up to a total of plus 10 stacks, which means that you will make sure that everything takes 25% more damage, and you'll notice that they have the debuff with that green glow that appears on them. Alright, they can also do a submerging attack. If you're on soil like this, you can submerge, and then you can go over and you can start circling around certain things, and then that will actually draw them in. See, I didn't catch that guy, but you'll notice that down at the very bottom, it'll tell you exactly what is going on. All right, so right now we're immobilizing things, and it will slowly draw him down in, but I think he's just going to try to smack us as we circle around. So we can just kind of try to see if we can get him submerging down, and he is, and he'll pop out and he'll take a little bit of damage. And the amount of damage that he takes is determined by how much his total hit points are. And then also we can give him an ability called Debris Whip. What that does, it blinds things, and it just kind of makes them go off into a certain bit. You can actually, if you time that right, you can actually use that as like a makeshift fear, and that's what I've been noticing for how to use it. Is it blinds things and it sends them off, and yeah, it just kind of just fears them. It makes them go off in a certain direction. It doesn't actually do a lot of damage. It does a little bit. That parasaur was going to run away anyway. I just wanted to get that parasaur out of here. All right, but also underground, these guys will actually move quite, really, really fast, actually. When you're above ground, they don't move fast at all, but when you're down under the ground, they do get a rather large speed boost. It's pretty good. All right, so hey, let's talk about how you tame these guys. And how you tame them is actually really easy. Oh, one thing before we get into that. Let's talk about their saddle. The saddle, it's not a beginner saddle. It is level 70, so it's going to take you a little while to get up to here. It only takes 200 fiber, 30 metal ingots, 150 hide, and 100 wood, and you craft it at the smithy. Like I said, it is generally not a beginner one, but it's really easy to craft once you actually do have them. I ended up finding mine in a loot crate, which is pretty common, actually, from what I can see on Scorched Earth with the new loot drop the way it is. But also, yeah, I just wanted that guy gone. But also another thing that I would say is while you're on the ground like this, if you go and you fly off an edge, it kind of pops you out like that, and it also puts everything else on cooldown. Well, my debris whip was already on cooldown, but yeah. All right, so yeah, just be careful when you go and you start jumping off cliffs with these guys because it can get rather dangerous rather quickly. They do not have, well, at least I don't, yeah, they don't have any weight reduction when it comes to the flint that they can carry. I would have expected they did, but they don't, unfortunately. All right, so hey, let's get into taming them because taming them, taming them is a little bit of an adventure. All right, so just to bring you guys back here really quick. Yeah, I've noticed that when you are moving, when you stop moving underground, if you stop, you won't regain stamina, but the moment that you sit still long enough, you'll pop up like that. It's just a little dirt mound, and then you'll start to regenerate stamina. Oh, another thing, you are able to actually fire off the back of their saddle, which is a nice added bonus. These are probably one of the bigger creatures that you can actually fire off the back of the saddle, which makes these guys rather tanky as well. And also, they do get quite a bit of health. Mine was actually tamed out rather low. I just went out and tamed the first one I found, and yeah, so he's level 50. Not too bad whatsoever. When it comes around to leveling these guys up, I would probably suggest health, damage, and stamina. They fly through stamina like no one's business. So I would say out of every 5 levels, 2 in stamina, 1 in melee damage, 1 in stamina, and then have the 5th one rotate between melee damage and stamina, depending on how you want to use your Fasolasuchus. All right, when you spot one of these dirt mounds out in the open desert or close by one of the mesas, what you can do is throw a couple grenades. Well, 1 grenade or use C4. Throwing multiple grenades doesn't really do anything, and that will stun it and pop it out. What you want to do is jump on it and ride it around. Your goal is to smack into rocks, into bones, into obsidian, and into metal. And while riding it around and trying to maintain its or build up its torpidity, what you need to do is smack it into rocks. Now, each time you hit a rock, it will refresh your control, and then it will gradually increase your torpidity. And that's what we want, is to increase our torpidity extremely far. And you can go kind of a good, decent chunk of distance away while you're trying to gain the torpidity, but if you lose that control, then you are going to be booted off. So make sure that you don't get booted off. And going through the trees is kind of okay. It won't raise your torpidity, but it will clear out the area. So yeah, and also there's a whole bunch of rocks in places like this, so don't be too panicked about it if it starts going through something like this. Or if you start going through somewhere like this, just know that, I mean, it's not going to increase it, but there are rocks that are in here, and it will remove them. All right, when you're going through, if you can find a spot where there's a bunch of metal, those are generally so much more preferred. Here, watch this. Much better at smacking up, getting up the torpor by hitting metal. It works out really, really well. So if you've got an area near those, make sure you can just try to tame one nearby. Alright, and then once he's asleep, then your job is to go and keep him asleep, throw a bunch of prime meat or kibble on him, and then just see, you know, if you can keep him asleep. And this is how you tame him. And granted, it did take me quite a few tries to actually get through that because one thing I did notice is that whenever they threw you off, well, you had to run for your life, and then once you did that, once you dropped aggro, they always went back to the spot that they spawned from, and then they would dive down there. They would aggro everything along the way. They would maintain some of their torpor. Their torpor does kind of go down at a decent rate, but while they are traveling back, their torpor will be dropping. They'll go back to the spot where they spawned from. They'll go underground if there's nothing for them to aggro on. And then you can throw another grenade at them again. It took me 8 grenades to get to this stage. So it'll take you a little while. I mean, now you can use C4. You can use, I'm thinking just about any explosive. Grenades work just fine for me. All right, and there you go. So that's everything you need to know about Fasolasuchus. These guys are actually pretty dang good. So hey, best of luck with taming them, and hopefully you guys enjoy. I hope the video helps you out. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. I really appreciate it. If you're new around here, subscribe. And until next time, this is Phlinger, and take it easy, everybody.